Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, Love and Light. On your journey, you may have certain ideas, motions, or even movements put into place, and maybe even have a great plan. And as things start to unfold, whether pieces move across that board of life or not, that either aligns with or pulls away from the original plan that you put motion and movement toward, in order to end with a beneficial balance that would not only benefit you but benefit the other energies around you by working in a team, if you will, by exchanging energy in an equal give and take manner. But as the days roll by and the situations move through the skies and other people are led by their own intuition and their own direction, regardless of what the plan may have originally been and who it may have originally benefited. But as the situation starts to turn, then you might find that the pieces on the board that were once placed into a position for forward motion regarding whatever type of plan, situation, or circumstance, right? Because everybody's situation is different. You may find that they're not in the same position that they once held, that they either moved laterally or vertically in on the board that we call the game of life, without even really saying anything, but just backing away or fading out or just maintaining another type of position through their mannerism, their words, or even their responses. And it's not your place or my place or anyone that this is affecting's place to try to keep that plan as a solid structure, because we can only control our own movements. And when we realize that we're not the only ones being directed by our spirit team, that so is everyone else, and that there's lessons that need to be learned, and maybe the other people that you made a plan with hasn't really understood or retained the value from whatever the lessons that they were involved with may have been, which would prevent them from truly journeying on the same road as you. So even though the plan may be put in place, the energies may not align. And if the energies don't align, you shouldn't fight it. You should just allow it to cultivate into its own understanding, its own comprehension, its own realization, its own remembrance of what their true path is supposed to be. Whatever potential or possibility that you may see for that other energy, or whatever vision that you hold with whatever partnership you may be, placing into a plan, may not have the best benefit for all the parties involved. And you can't sit in a higher energy and wait for a lower energy or even an energy on the rise to reach your level until they're ready. Because keep in mind that you didn't just open your eyes one day and say, I realized everything that I didn't know, and I bring it all to me, and I allow the clarity to flow, right? You didn't say that just yesterday or just today. You've been working on this journey. You've been working out your quirks, or the things that when you look in the mirror or reflect upon, you're not exactly happy with the direction that they've been or where they're headed, but you have a clear idea and a better understanding of where you want to go, right? And how you want to get there. And sometimes when energies don't align, you need to look for other avenues, or maybe even other avenues may present themselves as different opportunities, so that when those energies fall away from whatever plan, situation, or circumstance, then you won't be felt like you're falling with them. Because, first of all, no one's really falling. They're choosing to go in a different direction. And that doesn't mean that you have to choose a different direction. If you're really, truly being directed toward your higher self, your higher consciousness, a spiritual evolution within you, allowing you to use these tools and migrate through human life with a higher pivoted perception of, or a broader view, if you will, of what's within you or around you and how much you can only control. And you can only control you because everybody has free will. So if they're looking toward a different direction after a plan was put into place, wish them well, offer them healing and love and light, and continue to hold compassion and forgiveness for the situation, for you, for whatever may be a burden to you, to lighten your plate, not so much to give them, the grace to bow out, but actually that's what you could be doing as well. Because when you give someone healing energy, when you tell them, good luck, I hope everything works out, I know you can do this, keep going in the right direction, be mindful of the energies you have around you and the disposition that's being presented to you by all of these energies. And then move in the manner that it will uplift and unite and interconnect all the tapestries, all the pieces, all the threads, so that everyone has the ability to live their best life and accept their own personal journey. So in my case, my finances were very rocky because my career that I'm trying to integrate into, where I offer enlightenment and encouragement and positive energy and the ability to, work at incorporating a spiritual existence within a 3D environment, and how you can benefit from that and how everyone else can benefit from the position that you choose to hold, right? My book sales, even, haven't really been as high in volume as I would like. But then again, I'm not really known everywhere to everyone. And that's where these channels come into play, because I hope to spread my message and my encouraging words and my wise wisdom in everyone's direction to uplift and to allow the potential of a positive flowing energy that you have within you to emit from you, from whatever mindset, responses, and positive movement that you show in your life every day. And then it turned out to be that where I thought my daughter would come, not so much rescue me, because it would be a big hardship to me, and I won't lie about that. My daughter and I, we live in two different worlds. We always have. And her idea of importance has never been my practical idea of importance. And I've struggled for a long time trying to see, how can you incorporate carefree, don't worry about tomorrow in your plans of today? And then, just expect that your tomorrow will be, presented in comfort, love, and function. And I always knew that if you didn't work toward your tomorrow in the movements that you make today, that you will never have the vision that you think you should, because your movement hasn't been an equal give and take toward what it is you desire. So we thought about that for a while, and then I, recognized her ability to figure out her life herself and asked me if she needs, reach out, never abandon, never let her go completely, always has some type of a safety net, and that's even if it's just my love or my healing energy or my positive flow of wisdom. And I not only send it to my family, but I send it to everyone everywhere equally, without giving one a little bit more than the other, unless you're subscribed to my channel. And I know that sounds cheeky, but I mean, I have different things that my intentions are for my subscribers, because they shown loyalty to me, and they shown that in enlightenment and encouragement and inspiration are needed things in order to gather momentum in life. So for that, I do appreciate and send out a little extra energy. And then for everyone else, I send out powerful energy of remembrance, of recognizing who they are and what it is that they're looking to achieve in their life, and the remembrance of their original plan, or that every past lifetime has been an opportunity to move forward in the direction that your higher consciousness would like to learn and evolve within, from, or to, right? Because each step we make brings us either closer to or further away from whatever it is that we, have vision of. But that's not to be mistaken for needing or using or thinking that you can't go further on your own, even if a plan was put into place and started to fall apart. So don't let your vibration fall. Just look around to the universe for other doors to open. And in my case, another door did open, which gave me the freedom to live comfortably in my own home without having to be annoyed with my daughter's way of living, or the unruliness that her children seem to show because they're unhappy for whatever reason. And I've been trying to reach them, but I don't have the ability to talk to them as much as I would like. So what I say to them, they tend to forget, because it's not a continual thing. But with everyone else understanding that we can only control us, and that we have faith and believe that the positive energy that we send out will be received to whom we're sending it to. So when I send energy to my grandchildren, I send them loving, uncompromised energy, where I'm not looking down upon or forcing them or wanting them to be more than what they are right now, because there are lessons that everyone needs to learn. And sometimes the biggest lesson of all is to learn how to trust in the love that you receive and not try to fight it off or make it more than what it is, like an unequal give and take, if you will. And sometimes people can think that when others are nice to them, that there's something that they're looking to receive, like it's a payment, and or a payment is expected when someone is being nice. But no, that's not how it's supposed to be. It was never meant to be that way. And little by little, I try to show, even as few encounters or as many encounters as I have with another. And I care and I respect everybody equally, because everybody is very important to this world and to each other. You may not think it right now, but when you're able to perceive the larger picture, then you'll understand why things had to happen the way that they did. And it's not that it's to hurt anyone, it's to help everyone recognize their strength and to use their bravery and their courage to continue to go forward, even if the road doesn't seem to have an end in which you thought that it should, or if that road is stretched out longer and it looks like it's just continuing to grow and it never stops and says you're finally home. But that's also not true. That's just a seeded thought that the demigods of this earth, this realm, has seeded into you, so that you would believe your own words. And they can do this. They can inject thoughts into our minds more easily than you might think. There's a lot of different subliminal things that go on, and then the cross and the waves that are naturally within the same air as we just can't see them. And it's a good thing too, because then we might notice that these waves are running through us or very close to us. And that in itself has the ability to add different thoughts to your mind if you're not able to catch what's yours and what's not. So don't let the seed of doubt, don't automatically think that it's from you, because it may not be, especially if you're looking toward positive solutions and doable situations that benefit everyone, not just one or two. And then when you look toward the fact that even if plans don't work out well, that there's always lessons to be learned and value to be gained. And maybe not you who need to know it, but maybe the other ones that are within your vicinity, that are intertwined within your energy field, need to be able to stand on their own and encompass their own self and migrate their own road. And if they fall down, you can certainly be there to help pick them up, but that's not a plan, that's just a helping hand. So don't confuse helping hands with plans, circumstances, or situations. Use your discernment and rely on your intuition, your inner feeling, like that gut feeling that you have, because that's one of your biggest abilities, to recognize what you may be sensing before your brain may be able to recognize the language in which it's using. Keep in mind that we've only been taught a few things, and not any of them have been a complete story or even an accurate story. So if situations come your way that you can't quite explain, or that you haven't found the right words to articulate, it's not that you lack anything. It's that you are entering the space that your higher self always knew you would be able to return from, and return in a better, more enhanced version of you. So don't look at plans that may be falling apart, as the end of all, because it could very well be the beginning of everything. So instead of thinking that you're running away from a situation by adopting a partnership or a community of energy to assist, if that energy was never really considering a full, complete partnership with equal give and take. And sometimes that has everything to do with the other people and nothing to do with you. So when you realize and you recognize that everybody needs to learn their own lessons in life, then it makes your journey easier to migrate, because then you don't have to worry about or feel responsible for, or feel um, uh, or feel like you're forced into a position, because today's society seems to think that money is the answer to everything. Just so everyone knows, the most important commodity in life in the way back when wasn't money. That only came into play when, the United States became the United States, I suppose, and they decided that money had to control everything. But in the beginning of time, we bartered with seeds to grow plants, vegetables, and trees and fruit, and with labor, with knowledge, with wisdom, with the ability to help without the expectation of reward, like receiving payment, because it was an equal give and take exchange, and everybody felt that they were on the winning end. So when today's society says that money is the end, the meaning of everything, I've never actually ever believed that. And my sisters used to get mad at me because I never thought that money was more important than life. I always thought that life was way more important than money, and that money could make it easier, or money could make it harder, or money could make you forget, and the lack of money could make you remember. So it depends how you want to look at money, but because today's society is being held down by the almighty dollar and they're using it to dominate and suppress, then I can certainly understand why a financial obligation, is important, because you wouldn't want, to be out on the street. And I get that. And I'm so very happy to hear my spirit team helped me retrieve some of the money that I lost, that I put into my book venture and my marketing venture, my website even, and gave me back some of what I spent, because the ends did not justify the means and there was no equal give and take. So in order for me to gain true marketing or true advancement, I need to start marketing and publicizing myself. And I've been trying to do that softly, gently, without seeming like demanding or asking someone to step outside of their means. Completely understanding that money is something that not many people have. I know that I don't really have a lot of it, but at least I know that my utilities won't get shut off this winter, and I won't be in a dark house with my snowsuit on. So positive, positive. And that's because my forward motion, my belief in me, and my non-wavering faith in the universe has always protected me. I may not have liked the help that it always provided, because at some level it took away from my independence. But today I'm in a position where I am extremely grateful to receive, because my mobility is not quite yet where I need it to be. And that makes holding a job, even for the man, harder to do, because people have unreasonable expectations sometimes. And that could come from any different party, from any different side. But when we realize that, would we really ask somebody to do something we wouldn't be willing and ready to do ourselves? And then do you really expect them to put a lot of effort into it if they're not really getting what they expect to receive from it? So those are all questions you just need to prepare yourself for. That's it. You don't need to have the answers. You just need to be prepared, so that when and if that situation ever arises, it won't be something that catches you, at the corner where you're not quite sure how to respond. You would have had some time to cultivate that question, and then you'll soon find that you'll be responding and not reacting when you do give an answer, either through movement or through your words or through, your intentions. And those things, when I say them like that, are all answers. Answers to you, answers to the other, and answers to the universe. Because keep in mind, the universe is always watching. There's always somebody watching. There's always somebody who is looking and responding or reacting. So before you react, step over onto the side of response and realize that even if plans don't end how you may have thought that they should begin, that doesn't mean that you should react. That just means that you should respond with the energy and the movement and the universal flow, and just go with it and look for your opportunities to come to you, and then be brave enough to see them, recognize them, and then be courageous enough to act upon them or to respond with them. My lovely collective, no matter what you do today, you are never alone, And if you made a plan and it's starting to fade away, maybe not by you, but by the other energies, or maybe a little bit by both, because keeping your energy high and your environment peaceful is a self-boundary type thing. So if you have to break your self-boundary in order to encompass something that you think that you need or society tells you that you need, right? That's another question. Do I actually need it? Will I die without it? And how can I retrieve it? How can I receive it, rather, without breaking my self-boundaries? These are difficult questions, and I get that because I've been faced with all of them. And I still stood my ground, and I still said to my daughter, as much as I would like to have you and your son come and spend some time with me and help me out with my finances, I really wasn't looking to have a pre-made family. And she goes, but I'm involved. And I was like, okay, you can be involved. That doesn't mean that everyone has to live in my house. And she's like, yes, it does. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And, she's like, why are you so difficult? And I was like, self-boundaries, Heather, something that you don't remember that you should be holding all the time. And she said to me, okay, you're right. And I really don't want to be here under the same roof with you because we fight. And I said, yes, I do know that. So when her pieces started to move off of the board, off of the plan, I didn't freak out about it. And I didn't hold it against anyone because I already understood that some things were more important than others. And respecting both ways, personal space and self-boundaries is an important thing, and I never want to cross that. And I wouldn't want to be around anyone who does. So these plans, they dropped off, and they're not going to happen. But my backup plan came through for me, which will keep me okay. And she should be okay because, like she said, she's not one person, she's multiple people, which means that there's multiple forms of income coming in for her. So she should be able to play the game that, life has been gearing us all toward, which is work for money. You have everything you need is under a price tag. So, whatever. And I even said that to everyone. Is it something you need or is it something you desire? Because that's a difference. So, do you have to have what you desire or do you have to have what you need? Sometimes when you're on the line and you're trying to figure out what is a doable situation, regardless of how many individuals are within that discussion, right? You have to look at the entire picture, and you have to realize that it's nice to desire, but it's better to have what you need. So hopefully everyone realizes that, and they don't do things that are going to hurt themselves in order to obtain it, but they're going to work it out in a positive, uplifting manner that benefits them and the other energies around them, but in a pure, loving way, without resentment or suppression or control or domination, because that's extremely important to keep your vibration high. You can't try to squash someone, whether it's beneficial to you or not, because in the end, all you're doing is hurting yourself as you hurt the other person. And that's what the interconnectivity comes into play. Because when you realize that we're all aspects of our Creator, and that we're all equal, and that we're all deserving to receive, then you tend to look differently at the other consciousnesses around you. And maybe even what you thought was a doable plan will give you a much better resolution if you just look a little further. It might be a little bit difficult, maybe more steps, but in the end, what you'd be gifted with is long-lasting and sustainable and won't disappear as quickly as it comes. Those are all questions, and we all have these and probably many more, but usually we hold them internally and we migrate through the lessons that we've already accomplished and the inner wisdom that we already know. And sometimes we need to experience the outcome in order to recognize the value of the lesson. So those are more questions. And wherever you may be on your path, by all means, you are never alone. And if you're looking to retrieve more clarity, more wisdom, more knowledge, stupid fly, by all means, call me. I'm always available for you. If I don't answer right away, I will give you a call back within 24 hours because I never let things slide from one day to the next. I like to touch everything that needs to be touched every day so that I don't have an overwhelming amount the next day. And then sometimes that could get overwhelming. And these are questions too, because having a plan maybe can come in a multitude of ways. Doesn't necessarily have to be one plan in the end, right? My whole life has been surrounded by lists, plans, goals, and checklists. And I'm not afraid to say that. And I also learn better when I write it and I speak it out. So other people have other ways of doing things. It just makes us all unique and needed. We're all needed. We're all uniquely needed. And that our worth is actually an asset. So don't ever look at yourself as a liability because you're not, regardless of what your situation is. If you're willing to recognize, to learn, to grow, and evolve, you are an asset. My lovely collective, no matter where you are, I am sending you loving, healing, enlightened energy from me to you every day.